It's good win for our team. We were a tired team about 7-8 days ago, and a lot of things have led to that. One of them being that we've got a lot of first-year guys, and that's okay. That don't mean that they're tired because they're first-year guys. We practice differently than where they've played at before, and we lift weights all the time. And I don't accept, just like this university, not going to class. So the end of the semester is really taxing. This week that we were just finishing today has always been a problem with guys that play for me for the first time, as far as them dragging because of all the responsibilities and the semester being long. And so we were a tired team. We had a great practice on Friday. We were a little sluggish yesterday, but mentally we were good, and that was a byproduct of us just being tired physically and actually being really good and physical and competitive on Friday. But we lined up and protected home court, and anytime you do that, you got to be proud of your team.
Frank, you've been mentioning that you needed to get more out of your bigs. What clicked today? What did you say anything to them, or did they get together? What?
We were embarrassed the other day. Everybody was embarrassed. I mean, this team has played with a personality, with a style, and we were 0 for everything the other night. And guys came in on Friday. We were off on Thursday, and guys came in on Friday, and everybody was on edge. And practice was pretty, like I said, really competitive, really good. We put an unbelievable emphasis on playing strong in the paint, and those guys responded. I thought our bigs played with tremendous physicality today. They were active, and we still, there's some stuff we got to clean up in defensive rebounding. But the fact that they had, how many, 25, 20, 21 offensive rebounds is kind of like, wow. But that was also a byproduct that our bigs were actually rotating over and not giving up on contested layups at the rim. Now we have to protect them and sink and pin, which is what we call that backside rotation, and we didn't do that today. We still got some guys that are trying to out-jump 6'11" guys, and you're 6'3". That's not going to work. So we've got to do a better job on that. But that's why you play the whole season. You got to continue to clean things up little by little.
You talked about protecting the home court, and Patrick was just talking about how tough you guys were defensively today. What did you make of the defensive effort overall? Especially, you guys never trailed in this game. They cut it to within 6 points at one point. Just what did you make of the effort defensively today?
Yeah, I thought defensively we were really good. I thought we played with a purpose. I thought we played disciplined. It's how we played basically the whole year. With the exception of some bad plays in the second half against Princeton. And then obviously the other night we were just bad. But this team plays with a defense with a purpose. We don't just go out there and hoop. There's a purpose to how we play. And this team plays through that purpose, and we did that today. And I think we can be really good defensively. I really do. We've got to be a little I don't know what word to use. I don't want to use smarter because then you insinuate dumb. We got to make better decisions on offense, like on some things that we're doing, when to shoot, when to drive. But the one thing that we did today is we played with a purpose, and that was fun to see.
Jacoby makes another start there at point. What have you seen from him, and what did you like out of him today specifically?
I'm so proud of that kid, man. He's a winner. He's a team guy. He's a competitive kid. He's got a lot of pride. He battled. He's one of the guys that battled that flu bug like pretty good. And you know, he was dragging. And he didn't have the flu against Coastal. He had it the week before, but he was dragging. And then obviously, the one thing I was disappointed in that Coastal game is that we got some older guys on our team, and Jacoby was going to have to start at point guard. And he's a true freshman. His first career start in a sold-out gym on the road. The older guys didn't help him. That was disappointing to me. That's where, as a team, you pick him up. But give him credit. I mean, he didn't pout. He came in here. He put in 2 really good days of work and went out there and played like a champ today. I'm really proud of him. Jacoby's a competitive, hard-nosed, he's such a nice kid, but don't mistake that for how competitive he is on that court. I mean, he's a winner, and guys love him. He's fun to be around.
Frank, going back on your opening statement, talking about, the guys were embarrassed after the other day's performance. I know you've talked about in the past, guys sometimes coming in, comparing it to Thornwell, that some of those guys coming in to get extra work. Was that something you noticed this week? Is that something they've done? And how have they just, answered that call in terms of being able to do stuff on their own and not necessarily you just telling them to do it?
Yeah, it wasn't the extra work. Those guys kind of do that consistently. It's not like we didn't do it leading into Coastal. The Friday's practice was the attention to detail that everybody brought in there. The unwillingness to accept anybody being sloppy. You have to play with it. Everyone thinks that when you say, well, they're a fast team because they're a fast break team. Well, Princeton used to score when Coach Carrillo was there, they used to score 50 points. They were a fast team. Every cut, every screen was fast. On offense, you got to play with pace. Whether you play fast up and down or you play half-court basketball, you got to play with pace. There's an effort, a speed that you got to move with. And we lost that a little bit over the last 10, 12 days. And I thought on Friday we played that way in practice with that speed. And I think it showed today. In the first half, we had some great open court opportunities, and we just didn't convert. But I thought we played with tremendous speed today offensively, which was something we needed to get better at.
Frank, you only had 3 guys in double figures. I think 10 different guys scored. Is this, and I think 10 fast break points compared to almost none against Coastal. Is this kind of the offense you want to play in terms of the speed, in terms of a lot of different options to attack and getting out in the open court?
Yeah, we got the ball in the paint today. I haven't seen. That's one of the few things that I do chart is how many possessions the ball gets in the paint compared to how many don't. Without looking at that chart, my opinion is we got a high percentage of the possessions in the paint, and turnovers were down. We didn't have those bad turnovers that we've been having, just trying to do too much. And the thing that was great about how we played on offense today is that there was an aggression to get the ball in the paint. The guys in the paint played with aggression whether we threw them the ball or not. And then lastly, the ball never stuck. Guys were actually moving off the ball, doing what gets back to the speed I was talking about. And the guy with the ball didn't hold it. He continued to put the ball in action. So it makes the defense, especially like Georgetown switches a lot. So if you jog and stand, switching gets really easy. If you cut and move, switching gets really complicated. And I think we took advantage of some, I don't want to say lazy, that's not the right word, but difficult switches because of our movement.
Kind of a two-parter for you, Frank. You talked about making better decisions and getting the ball in the paint. Are the dunks kind of a byproduct of just making good passes, finding those open guys? And then did you know Wildens had a one-handed lob in his bag?
Yeah, man, Wildens, dude's unbelievable how hard he's worked to make himself into a really good basketball player. And he does that in practice. I mean, I don't know why he hit a spurt that he hit where he was unsure of what to do offensively. That's my job. My job is to get him to play with a peace of mind. His job is to put in the work. And he's put in the work. I'm really, really, really happy for him. And it was, if you think about it, it was that one play early where he just caught it, drop step, and dunked. It wasn't a lob. It was a catch, drop step, dunk. He hadn't done that since last year. And it was good to see him do that. That's the aggression and the confidence that he played with. And but all of them, all those guys, they all helped us. Trayvon went in there. He's practiced better. He went in there and dunked 2 balls because he got to the right spot. Now he's got to get better at ball screen defense. If not, it's going to be a problem to keep him on the floor. But that's his journey. That's his challenge. Josh Gray played with strength and pop today, like an aggression that the players, everybody, is demanding out of him. Give him credit for going out there and using it and doing it. And this is a fun team to be around. It wasn't fun a couple nights ago, being in the gym with them, but it's a fun team to be around. And I they got pride. They care.
Frank, can you just describe your relationship with Patrick Ewing?
Yeah. I'm glad you asked me that. I speak a lot about growing up because it's something I don't ever let go of, because the fact that I coach college basketball, knowing that we had no basketball other than high school basketball in the city of Miami forever, it's just mind-boggling to me sometimes. It's crazy. So I talk a lot about people that have helped me, but there's also people that I've never met that helped me tremendously. And Coach Thompson was one of them. I became a basketball fan waking up watching Julius Erving play the Portland Trailblazers in the NBA Finals on tape delays at 11:30 at night. And I didn't know what basketball was. I play football and baseball down there in Miami. I had no idea what basketball was. And then I kind of watched that, and I wanted to play. And then I've talked about my grandmother's influence in me in basketball. And now I get to high school. I've never seen a college basketball game. I've never been on a college campus. So let's not even worry about college basketball. And back then, ESPN Network, they used to play Big East basketball. And guess who's a freshman in 1982? Patrick Ewing. And I'm watching Georgetown, especially play North Carolina in the finals. I hadn't watched them a whole lot more. And I fell in love with Georgetown basketball. And you know who represented Georgetown basketball? Patrick Ewing. I don't know if you guys remember, the first 4 plays that North Carolina tried to score in that game were all goaltendings. He went up and grabbed every one of them and said no. And North Carolina scored 8 points without the ball touching the rim. It was all Patrick Ewing. And I'll never forget that. And the fact that here we are 40 years later, and I've gotten to know him, and he respects me. I know I respect the heck out of him. And heck, I started rooting for the Knicks. Who roots for the Knicks? I started rooting for the Knicks because of him and Pat Riley. And by the way, how fun was that team? Ewing, X-Man, Mason, Starks. Are you kidding me? I wish I would have grown up with those guys. But at the end of the day, man, it's the fact that now I consider him a friend, that I can call him and he'd be willing to take this game. Says a lot about who he is. I'm a fan for life of Patrick Ewing. He made an impact. I told him after the game, I don't think I'd ever said that to him before. He's made an impact in me as a young kid, because we're about the same age, because of the way he played basketball. And it helped kind of define the way I want teams to play when I coach.
Anybody else have a last question for Frank? Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you.